Good morning everyone. In the last session, we have seen regarding the mechanism of respiration. Into that, 4 steps were there. First step it was the breathing, and second step it was the external respiration, third was internal respiration, and fourth was the cellular respiration. Into that, breathing and external respiration we have already seen. So we are going to continue the same part, that is the third step, internal respiration. So first of all we must know that what is internal respiration. What is internal respiration? Where does it take place? So up to the lungs level we have seen in the external respiration. Now for suppose here these are our lungs. These are our lungs, and from the lungs the exchange of gases will be takes place into the lungs, and those gases are transported towards the each and every part of our body through the blood. So this is blood stream. These are our lungs into that alveoli. Those are coming towards the tissues. They are coming towards the tissues. Gases are exchanging between the lungs and tissues. Lungs and tissues, through which the medium is blood here. Which gases are transported? O2 and CO2 are transported from lungs to the tissues. That is the internal respiration. The respiration, the exchange of gases between the lungs level to the tissue level through the blood is called internal respiration. So, internal respiration, which is there, to occur the internal respiration, the two main components of blood are involved here. Of course, the blood is a medium. Through this blood, the exchange of the gases are carried and supplied. So, this blood has two main components. The main two components of the blood are first one is the plasma. Second one which is there, that is the RBCs, red blood corpuscles. Plasma will be transport the gases, and RBCs are also responsible for the transportation of the gases. Now, which gases those will be transported? O2 and CO2. O2 and CO2, these two gases will be get exchanged. So we will see one by one. First one, we will see the transport of oxygen. Transport of oxygen. And transport of oxygen is done by the same plasma and RBCs. So they are responsible for transport of oxygen. It is only 3%. Only 3%. That too in the dissolved state. That too into the dissolved state. Transport of oxygen will be expressed by the two ways, that is plasma, that too in the dissolved state. And then RBCs, remaining 97% which is there. So this oxygen is transported by the RBCs. Means huge amount of oxygen is transported by the RBCs. Only dissolved condition, oxygen is transported by the plasma. That too less quantity, only 3%. But 97% which is there, those are transported by the RBCs. So, what is the reason behind this? To carry much of oxygen. So, those, for example, these are the RBCs, biconcussive, and these RBCs has the carrier molecules. Oxygen carrier molecules, those are called HB. Hemoglobin. Hemoglobin molecules are present in the RBCs. In the RBCs, hemoglobin are present. They are responsible for transportation of the gases. So, hemoglobin acts as an respiratory carriers. Hemoglobin is called as hemoglobin act as respiratory carriers. Respiratory carriers. Respiratory carrier means what? They are carrying the respiratory gases. Which gases? Both O2 and CO2. But we are seeing here only regarding the transport of O2. So hemoglobin is responsible for transportation of the oxygen. So they are called as respiratory carriers. Respiratory carriers. Respiratory gases they are carrying, so they are called as respiratory carriers. They has the high affinity for O2. This hemoglobin has high affinity towards the O2. High affinity for O2. Hemoglobin has high affinity. Affinity means what? The power of attraction. Those will be attract the O2. They has the affinity towards the O2. High affinity towards the O2. So this hemoglobin combines with the oxygen. What will be happens here? This hemoglobin combined with oxygen and to form oxyhemoglobin. To form oxyhemoglobin. Hemoglobin is combining, it has the high affinity towards the oxygen. It has the power of attraction. It will be attract towards this oxygen more attraction is there. So Hb combines with this oxygen and it forms the oxyhemoglobin. When this is the blood stream, so into that blood, here RBCs are there and RBC has the Hb, hemoglobin, and when the oxygen is coming here, that hemoglobin will be collect this oxygen and it combines with it, and the combining state is called as the oxyhemoglobin. Oxygen and hemoglobin, that two will be combined. That is called oxyhemoglobin. And through this, those are carrying towards the tissue. So they are called as respiratory carrier and they have high affinity towards the oxygen. So those will be combined with the oxygen and to form a oxyhemoglobin. One molecule of Hb has 4 iron molecules. So one molecule of Hb has 4 Fe++. Friends, Fe++, one molecule of hemoglobin. When we see the structure of this hemoglobin, for example, this is the structure of hemoglobin. So it has this 4 iron molecules. It has 4 iron molecules. This is one Fe++. This is Fe plus plus, Fe plus plus. So here 4 iron molecules are there and it will be combined. One Fe can attach with one oxygen. Here one oxygen, here one oxygen, here one oxygen, here one oxygen. So here how many oxygen molecules have come there? 4. One molecule is altogether only one Hb it is. Only one hemoglobin molecule it is. Only one hemoglobin. Heme and globin. Hemoglobin. Heme and globin. Globin is a protein. And heme is nothing but iron. Heme is nothing but the iron. Heme and globin. Hemoglobin is a respiratory pigment. So here it has 4 Fe molecule and 1 Fe can bind with the 1 oxygen. So in this way, 1 hemoglobin molecule can be bind with the 4 oxygen molecules because they has 4 Fe plus plus. So they will be pick up each one. Then the 1 Hb, only 1 hemoglobin molecule can bind with the 4 O2, 4 oxygen molecules. So it forms oxyhemoglobin. What is converted? Here Hb and 4 O2. Oxyhemoglobin. Hb is only one molecule of hemoglobin can combine 4 molecules of oxygen and it is converted into the oxyhemoglobin. So this is the combining capacity of the hemoglobin towards the oxygen. Now we see the next part of this is, however, the degree of saturation of Hb with O2 depend upon the O2 tension. The degree of saturation. The degree of saturation of hemoglobin with O2 depend upon the O2 tension. Saturation. What is the meaning of this saturation? Saturation means what? Saturation in the sense, suppose for example one plant is there and we are pouring the water for that. So how much water it require, that much if we pour, then it will get the saturation. Enough it is. Enough water we are pouring for this. That is called the saturation. But here the meaning of saturation is combining capacity of hemoglobin to the oxygen is called saturation. The combining capacity of hemoglobin and O2 is called saturation. So the saturation of hemoglobin with O2 is depend upon the O2 tension. Saturation of hemoglobin and O2. It is depend on. It depends on whom it depends? It depends upon the O2 tension, oxygen tension. It is depend upon O2 tension, that is PPO2 means partial pressure of oxygen. PPO2 means partial pressure of oxygen. Saturation of hemoglobin and oxygen is depend upon. Whom it depends? It depends upon the O2 tension, or that is partial pressure of the O2. If partial pressure of O2 is more, then the combining capacity is also more. And partial pressure of O2 is less, then the combining capacity is also less. So it is depend upon the partial pressure of the O2. 100% saturation is rare. 100% saturation is rare. Why? 100% saturation is rare because 3% which is there, that is in the dissolved state. Only 97% are carried by the RBCs. What is saturation? Saturation is combining capacity of hemoglobin to the oxygen is called saturation. So here what they are saying, 100% saturation is rare because 3% is in the dissolved state. This may work or may not work. It is carrying the 3%. Only remains 97%. So 100% of saturation is rare. That is the reason behind this. Maximum saturation. How much it will be then? What is the maximum saturation? Maximum saturation is 95 to 97. 95 to 97% is at PPO2 at the alveolar 100 mmHg. So maximum where it will be occurs percent, 95 to 97% of saturation. That is the maximum saturation. Where it will be occurs? It will be occurs into the alveoli. Why? Because the fresh air is coming. When the person is in a head, it is coming towards the alveoli, and in the alveoli, more level of oxygen is present, as we have seen in the during the time of alveolar structure. 104 mmHg of the oxygen is present in the alveoli. Here, partial pressure of oxygen will be more in the alveoli, that is 100 mmHg. How much it will be? 100 mmHg. At that time also, the maximum saturation is only 95 to 97. The maximum saturation is 95 to 97%. When at the alveolar level, the partial pressure of O2 is 100 mmHg. 100 mmHg रहने के बावजूद भी मैक्सिमम सैचुरेशन कितना है? 95 टू 97% ही है, क्योंकि 3% कहाँ से कैरी हो रहा है? वो डिसॉल्व स्टेट से कैरी हो रहा है, प्लाज्मा से कैरी हो रहा है. ये आरबीसी काम करे या ना करे, ये तो कैरी कर भी लेगा 3%. सो इसलिए 95 टू 97% इज द मैक्सिमम सैचुरेशन ऑफ hemoglobin and oxygen. Clear? So 100% saturation is rare, very rare, and maximum saturation is 95 to 97%. The degree of saturation decreases with drop in PPO2. This begins at the dissociation of the HbO2. Degree of saturation will be decreased. The degree of saturation, maximum if it is there at the alveolar level 100 mmHg, if it is there, and also the saturation is 95 to 97 degrees. And suppose in case this is और decreasing, ये 100 है, ये 100 कम होते जाएगा तो ये भी कम होगा, परसेंटेज भी कम होगा. 100 mmHg है तो ये 95 to 97. अगर ये लेवल कम होगा, पार्शियल प्रेशर ऑफ O2 कम होगा, तो सैचुरेशन भी क्या होते जाएगा? कम होते जाएगा. So degree of saturation decreases with a drop in PPO2. This begins the dissociation of HbO2. Then, as I told you, from the lungs, the blood is carrying the gases O2 and CO2. ये ब्लड में से गैसेस आ रहे हैं, किसमें कंबाइन होके आ रहे हैं? किसके साथ कंबाइन होके आ रहे हैं? हीमोग्लोबिन के साथ कंबाइन होते हुए आ रहे हैं. हाँ, O2 is combined with the hemoglobin and those are coming towards the tissues. Up to when those will become together? Up to the tissue level only. As they have to be dissociated, as they has to be separate. Tissue require oxygen. These tissues are require the O2. उनको सिर्फ ऑक्सीजन चाहिए. O2 is required. And how it is coming O2? O2 is combined with the hemoglobin. Oxyhemoglobin form में ये आ रहा है. When it comes towards the tissues, it has to be dissociated. When it is there in the alveoli, then the partial pressure of O2 will be 100 mmHg. And when it is coming towards this capillaries, the partial pressure of the oxygen will be decrease. अगर यहाँ है तो ज्यादा है. जैसे जैसे ये बाहर आएगा वैसे वैसे क्या होता जाएगा? पार्शियल प्रेशर ऑफ ऑक्सीजन कम होते जाता है, डिक्रीज होते जाएगा. जब ये डिक्रीज होता है तब सैचुरेशन भी क्या होते जाएगा? कम 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 होते जाएगा. कंबाइनिंग कैपेसिटी भी उसकी क्या होती है? कम होती है. कम होने के बाद ये दोनों जो है ऑक्सी हीमोग्लोबिन वो डिवाइड हो जाते हैं. दोज विल बी डिवाइड एंड ओनली द ऑक्सीजन विल बी रिलीज्ड टुवर्ड्स द टिश्यूज. ये सिर्फ ऑक्सीजन को यहाँ पर छोड़ के हीमोग्लोबिन चले जाते हैं. दिस इज द जर्नी ऑफ ऑक्सीजन फ्रॉम लंग्स टू द टिश्यूज. लंग्स टू द टिश्यूज. लंग्स में आ गए अल्वियोलर, अल्वियोलर टू दोज विल बी डिफ्यूज इनटू द ब्लड. ब्लड में कौन थे? आरबीसीज. आरबीसी में कौन है? हीमोग्लोबिन. हीमोग्लोबिन के साथ वो कंबाइन हो गए. ऐसे आते गए, जब जब ये आते गए ब्लड स्ट्रीम में से तब तक उनका पार्शियल प्रेशर कम 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 होते गया. When those comes towards the tissue level, then those will be dissociated. Those will be get separated, and only oxygen will be liberated towards the tissue, and hemoglobin again can be goes away. So this is the journey of oxygen up to the tissue level, and the 30 mmHg of PPO2 if it is there, then only the 50% of saturation will be takes place. Suppose for example, as I told you, 100 mmHg if it is there, then the maximum saturation will be takes place, that is 95 to 97%. In case only one example we will be take here, instead of 100 mmHg, we take only the 30 mmHg. We are taking only the 30 mmHg. Then what is the saturation? The saturation is only how much? It is saturation is only the 50% of saturation will be takes place. Saturation is only 50%. When the PPO2 is partial pressure of oxygen is only 30 mmHg if it is there. 30 mmHg if it is there, then the saturation is 50% only. And when 100% is there, at that time 95 to 97%. 100% is rare, very rare. They don't occur. If it is there, that too very rare. So we need to be remember these 3 points regarding the saturation of hemoglobin and oxygen. Saturation of hemoglobin and the oxygen. So what we have seen, what is saturation? Saturation in the sense combining capacity of hemoglobin towards the oxygen is called as saturation. And the combining capacity of the hemoglobin towards the oxygen is depend upon the O2 tension or partial pressure of O2. अगर पार्शियल प्रेशर ज्यादा है तो कंबाइनिंग कैपेसिटी भी ज्यादा होगी. पार्शियल प्रेशर कम है तो कंबाइनिंग कैपेसिटी क्या होती है? कम होती है. 100% सैचुरेशन इज वेरी रेयर. 100% सैचुरेशन नहीं होता है because RBCs are carrying only 97% of O2 and 3% O2 is carried by the plasma. So 100% is very rare and maximum saturation at the alveoli level. Alveoli में जहाँ की पार्शियल प्रेशर कितना रहता है? 104 mmHg रहता है. When we calculate 100 mmHg, then the maximum saturation will be 95 to 97% only. And एग्जाम्पल के तौर पर अगर हमने ये ले लिया 30 mmHg अगर है पार्शियल प्रेशर ऑफ O2 is partial pressure of O2 is 30 mmHg, then the saturation is only 50%. 50% saturation is present. This is regarding the saturation. What we have seen today? Up to now, the internal respiration, exchange of gases will be takes place to the lungs to the tissue level. Lungs to tissue level, that is called internal respiration and carried by the blood. And the main two components of the blood which are responsible for the transportation of O2 are the first one is the plasma, second one is the RBC. Transportation of O2. These two factors are responsible. First one, plasma. Both are the blood components. Plasma is carrying 3%, that too in the dissolved state. RBCs are carrying the 97%. And in the RBC, what it is there? Hemoglobin molecules are there. And these hemoglobin are called as the respiratory carriers because they are carrying the gases O2 as well as CO2. So they are called as respiratory carriers. And they have a high affinity for O2. Hemoglobin molecules has high affinity towards the O2. Means they will be attracted towards the O2 more. High affinity they have. So hemoglobin combined with the oxygen and it forms the oxyhemoglobin. And one molecule of hemoglobin has 4 Fe++, 4 molecules of iron. And hemoglobin, one molecule of hemoglobin can carry the 4 molecules of oxygen. And it forms the oxyhemoglobin. This is regarding saturation. Saturation depends upon total tension PPO2. 100% saturation is there. Maximum saturation is 95 to 97. And when we take the partial pressure 30 mmHg, then only the 50% of saturation will be takes place. Now we'll see the hemoglobin dissociation curve. What is hemoglobin dissociation curve? The relationship between the hemoglobin oxygen saturation and oxygen tension is called oxygen dissociation curve. This we are going to be represent into the graphical format. Here we have taken one graph here, x-axis, and this is y-axis. Here on the x-axis what it is there? Oxygen. Partial pressure in mmHg is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 up to 100. And on the y-axis, oxygen, hemoglobin oxygen saturation. Percentage of the saturation. 10%, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 up to 100%. So we have plotted everything. Then, as we know that, so in the tissue level, in the body tissue, up to here we take oxygen level is 40 mmHg. Body tissue, and this is at the level of alveoli. At the level of alveoli. In the alveoli we know, we have seen here 104 mmHg of O2 is there, partial pressure of O2. And in the blood capillaries, how much it is? 40 mmHg. So we take this body tissue in that 40 mmHg of oxygen, partial pressure of oxygen. And at the alveolar level, it is 100 mmHg. So in this way, we have plotted here. First of all, we must know that what is oxyhemoglobin dissociation curve. Oxyhemoglobin dissociation curve. Dissociation means what here? Separation. Whose separation? Oxyhemoglobin. Oxygen will be get separated, hemoglobin also will be get separated. From alveoli to the blood is coming towards the body tissue. And when it comes towards the body tissue require only the oxygen. Those will be collect only oxygen. They are not required the hemoglobin. So it has to be break.
The binding has to be break. That is called as the dissociation. Association means what? From the alveoli, these gases will be diffused into this blood capillaries and those will be combined with the hemoglobin. That is association. Combining of Hb plus O2, it is association. And from the HbO2, oxygen is separated and hemoglobin is separated. That is the dissociation. So what is our curve is oxygen dissociation curve. When it will be get dissociated. This curve which is there, that is shifting towards the right. This side is right and this is left. But in the physiology we used to be study, this is right and left. But here it is, this is the right and this side is the left side. The curve is shifting towards the right side. When? During the time of dissociation. At the time of dissociation. So, the middle one which is there, that is the normal one. So, what will be happens here? When it is shifted towards the right, if H plus ions are increased, H plus ion concentration is increased. H plus ion concentration if it is increased and the partial pressure of CO2 is increased. Partial pressure of CO2 if it is increased, it is shifted towards the right side. Then temperature is increased. In case if temperature is increased, then this dPg is increased. When these four factors, if they increase, H plus ion concentration and partial pressure of CO2, temperature and this dPg. If they are increased, then the oxygen dissociation curve will be shifted towards the right side. And partial pressure is decreased. Partial pressure of oxygen is decreased and pH is also decreased. What will be happens here? H plus ions if they increase, then the pH will be decreased. pH is decreases. Partial pressure of O2 is also decreased. Then the oxyhemoglobin dissociation curve will be shifted towards the right side and it is sigmoid in shape. This dPg means what here? This is 2,3-diphosphoglycerate. dPg. What is it? dPg. This is 2,3-phosphoglycerate. 2,3-diphosphoglycerate. 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 So where it is present? It is present in the RBCs. It is present in RBCs. So when it is formed during the glycolysis cycle. It is formed during glycolysis. During the time of glycolysis. Glycolysis where it occurs? It occurs in the cytoplasm. Breakdown of glucose is called glycolysis. During the time of glycolysis in the RBCs, this 2,3-diphosphoglycerate is formed. It lowers the affinity of Hb for O2. It lowers. What it lowers? It decreases. It lowers the affinity power of attraction of Hb for O2. It reduces the power or it reduces the affinity of hemoglobin for O2. Hemoglobin, when it will be combined with the oxygen, that affinity is reduced by this the Pg23 diphosphoglycerate. So this is the dissociation curve. It is during the time of oxyhemoglobin will be dissociated, the graph which is there, that is shifted towards the right, and when the hemoglobin and oxygen are combining, that is shifted towards the left. When those are combining, when the gases are coming from alveoli, then that will be the left side they are shifting. When those are oxygen is increased, then the plot will be goes up. When the oxygen is decreasing, then the plot will be constant. This curve will be constant. So this is the situation. Why it will be shifted towards the right side? Because H plus ion concentration is increased. अगर H plus ion increase होते हैं तो उसका pH क्या होता है? Decrease होता है. CO2 increase, oxygen decrease. Temperature and dPg, if they are increased, then the plot this curve which is there, that is shifted towards the right side. So this is oxygen dissociation curve. Next, we have the two laws here. First one, Bohr's effect. Bohr's effect. Bohr's what he says that it is the shift of oxyhemoglobin dissociation curve due to change in the partial pressure of CO2 in the blood. What he says that the oxygen dissociation curve is shifting towards the right side due to partial pressure. Whose partial pressure? CO2. Partial pressure is changed. If CO2 partial pressure is increased, then the oxygen dissociation curve will be shifted towards the right side. And Heldon says that Heldon effect, oxyhemoglobin functions as an acid. Oxyhemoglobin will be work like as an acid. How it work? It work like as an acid. So it decreases pH of blood. If it is acid is there, then the pH will be decreased. Below 7 if it is there, it is acidic, the pH will be decreased. Above 7 if it is there, then that will be alkaline. So it decreases the pH of blood due to increase in the number of H plus ions. Increase in the number of H plus ions, and the bicarbonate HCO3 minus changes into H2O and CO2. The conversion of HCO3 minus into H2O and CO2. The Heldon says that. So these two are the effect. Bohr what he says? It is the shift of oxyhemoglobin dissociation curve due to change in partial pressure of CO2. Only due to change in the partial pressure of CO2 in the blood. And Heldon says that oxyhemoglobin function as an acid. It is an acid. It decreases the pH of the blood. ब्लड का pH क्या हो रहा है इधर? कम हो रहा है क्योंकि ऑक्सीहेमोग्लोबिन क्या काम कर रहा है इधर? एसिड का काम कर रहा है. Due to increase in the number of H plus ions. So the HCO3 minus changes into the H2O and CO2. अगर CO2 का लेवल बढ़ गया तो क्या हो जाएगा? That curve will be shifted towards the right. Who said this? Bohr said. How is carbon dioxide released? Who said? From this Heldon. From the HCO3 minus changes into H2O and CO2. And CO2 level will be increased. Partial pressure of CO2 level will be increased. If the partial pressure of CO2 is increased in the blood, the curve which is there will be shifted towards the right side. So this is regarding the Bohr's effect and the Heldon effect. So in the alveoli, the partial pressure of O2 is high. The partial pressure of O2 is high in the alveoli. these are our alveoli and these are our tissue. These are alveoli and it is tissues. In the alveoli, the partial pressure of oxygen is high and CO2 is low. PpO2 is high, PpCO2 is low. In the tissues, PpO2 is less and PpCO2 is high in the tissue level. So, if in the level of alveoli, partial pressure of oxygen is high, then the saturation will be more, combining capacity will be more. So, O2 can combine with the hemoglobin and it can be converted into the oxyhemoglobin, it is transferred. But in the tissues, what will be happen? Partial pressure of O2 is less and the partial pressure of CO2 is high. So at that time, this one O2 and hemoglobin cannot bind. This hemoglobin and O2 cannot bind effectively. So what will be happen? Those will be here break. This bond will be break and O2 will be get separated and it is diffused into the tissues. It get diffused into tissues. So this is regarding the partial pressure of O2 and CO2 will be occurs in the tissue level and the alveolar level. So we have completed here up to this oxyhemoglobin dissociation curve, Morse effect and the Helden effect. Remaining part will be continued